Starting over with the joint mobilization, joint traction I was talking about first. What happens is in the joints, especially in the shoulders and in the hips, is where everything gets jammed up from just walking in life, sitting too long and things like that. The joints get jammed up. If you're going to do a regular stretch, like something like this here, I'm stretching the middle of the muscle, the belly of the muscle. That doesn't get into the joint and traction or mobilize the joint, which is where 50% of the tightness is. If you look in my paper, I explain all that I wrote up. The way to get that tightness out of that joint is to do traction. We're going to go over it, and I'd use this band here to do it. These are 41-inch long bands. They have different sizes. But anyways, you get the tightness will be in the hip joint capsule in there, and to release that you have to do the joint traction and the joint mobilization to get that out. Once that joint releases, then when I do this stretch here, now a lot of the pressure and tension, it'll just relieve itself, that you get so much more out of that stretch because I'm not locked up here, that muscle's not short. It loosens here, then when I stretch again it loosens, and then when I go through my typical routine of an exercise typically seen in arthritis classes or general senior citizen classes, I get more benefit out of them because my muscles are now firing, things aren't locked up, and again I explain most of that in the paper. But just to get an idea of what this technique looks like and how you can do it out of a chair, because we're dealing with the senior population, we want to make sure that their balance is safe, because when you first start with people, sometimes their balance is a little bit off, so you want to use this in a chair. I'm going to be tying it to these poles right here. We have different door anchors we can tie it to, and I can show you that all later. But from there, how we tie this on, and there's different size bands. We do a whole bunch of stuff from this that's beyond the scope of what we're going over right now, but we're just going to tie the band on. You just slip knot it through, and there's ways to tie this to doors and different poles and pipes. And I'll just start with if I was going to do a shoulder, and then I'll go into the hip. So if I'm going to do a shoulder, I'm going to put that on the back of my wrist there and just grab nice and gently there. And I'm just going to set my chair wherever I want. And for me, I feel pretty good right here. And this gets that pull that I was talking about right here. Now I have a little pull in the joint. So if I'm right here, I have no pull at all on me. My arm's just straight. I want to keep my arms straight, and then I go into the pull. I control the pull myself. I just lean back. I'm good. I go the other way. I lean this way. What really works good here is the angles I can hit. If I go this way, I get a different stretch. My thumb right here is pointed at 3 o'clock. If I turn that up to 12 and lean back, I hit a different area. If I turn it down to 6 and lean back, I hit a different area lower in the back. If I turn it this way, I hit a different area, and that starts loosening up that whole joint capsule. I can circle, I can move, I can turn, I can lean, I can drop down. Every different movement hits me in a different place. I'm safe, I'm in a chair. I can move my whole body to one way, hang onto the chair, lean in and out. If I put my thumb up and twist, I'm stretching, tractioning out this area right in here. If I put it down, I'm moving. I can turn this way. I can stay in the chair here, move, turn, come across. Anywhere I want to go in here, I'm hitting different stretches, different joint mobilization in the joint, and it's that pull out that this band gives you, the opposite direction that tractions this joint as you move it. That's where that tightness is locked up at. Until you get that out, the other stuff doesn't release very well. Once I've done that, I can move to the other arm. This arm feels nice and loose. I can move it around. I can move it all over the place. Again, I can move in, move out. I'm doing this all from a chair. I'm safe. I'm on balance. I'm moving all around here, moving the other way. Shoulders are a very area that gets tight. That leads to the falls, because when my shoulders come in here, I lean forward, my head comes forward, the balance is in the head. So if my head leans forward when I'm standing up, every time my posture wants to shift forward. So you need to come up and back. Set the shoulders back, get the head back. The shoulders also, if my shoulders are up and nice and straight, my back straight. When I lean forward, come forward, my back rounds, my head goes down. That puts pressure in the back, which tightens the hips up. So we'll go into the hips next. Again, in the paper I wrote, when the hips get tight, that's where a lot of the falls occurs from, because one leg could become shorter than the other. There's not a lot of room in this joint when it gets tight. That all packs in there. You want to kind of pull that apart gently. You don't want anything on here too fast. So how I do this is I'll step in here, just put that behind the foot, and now I'm in this chair. I can adjust the chair where I want it. When I do this, if I could kind of get that hip in the air a little bit on that side and just move and circle in any direction I want to move in, and just up and down and bend the knee a little bit. That all tractions that hip out and I can pull it. I don't need a lot of movement. Again, I'm safe. I can hold on. I'm in a chair, and when I'm done, I can take that off. If I need to be closer in, I can do that. You know, nice and easy getting in. Same thing. Kind of get that hip in the air and just kind of move, circle, turn. That's pulling the foot. If I want more pressure, I can scoot back, turn, move. If I need more pressure there and I don't want to be scooting back so this band's so hard to take off, I can go with a heavier band. So that's where there's a little bit of a art in knowing what band you're going to work with to go with the science of what's going on here and when you're moving it. So that's kind of where right there, when we get this going, that's going to help be able to get those hips loose. So then when I go into my hamstring stretch, you can really notice a difference in there. Even right away, just from doing that little bit, I can notice a difference. But you'll notice a difference right away when you go down, you're looser, you're in the stretch more, things will loosen up, and your muscles are going to fire better. And what happens is when those muscles get tight, everything starts coming together and starts getting weaker. And in the next video, we're going to go into how to stand up out of a chair and what would happen if I keep getting those hips don't get tractioned out and things like that. So then we'll go on to the next video.